And I love relationships. I think they're fantastic. They're wonderful. I think they're great. I think there's nothing in the world more beautiful than falling in love. But falling in love for the right reasons. Falling in love for the right purpose. Falling in love.
Oh man, Robert said you can't join a live video. What's wrong? Oh man.
I didn't feel nothing.
It said it won't let you.
With a shot in my stomach.
Why not?
Like, Lord,
are you on your phone?
Like this. Don't take me like this. And it's the first time I
don't know. I just saw something next to it. It said it won't let you. Are you on your phone?
I'll never forget it.
Hey, Jeremiah.
I'm not going to take you. I showed you too much to take you now. You're not done.
Yeah,
okay. Hey, brother.
Hey. What's going on? I was on. Now I'm on my phone.
Huh?
I said I was on my computer. Now I'm on the phone.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. All right. What's happening?
I am good, man. Just chilling. Trying to put this grind together and make $1 million. That's it.
Yes, you better make them millions. Yes.
Yeah. Can't stop, won't stop.
I know that's right.
Always been the motto.
Okay. Huh?
I said that's always been the motto. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah. All right, so we just gonna get started. What I'm gonna do, start off with the purpose of this, then we'll do introductions and get into some of the conversation tonight. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay, cool. All right, so hey everybody. For those that have never tuned in before, this is the relationship conversation. Last month we talked to singles. I had a whole bunch of single guys. So this month I'm going to have married guys. And so Rob is going to be our second person this month. And we're going to have a conversation about marriage and a whole lot of other stuff. So I'm excited about that. And I'm really passionate about these conversations. I love relationships and just healthy relationship dialogue. I post questions and scenarios on my Facebook page daily just to get healthy interaction going between men and women. So that's the purpose of these videos, and we're going to have a good discussion. So, Rob, why don't you introduce yourself to the people? Let them know who you are.
Absolutely. My name is Robert Cheeseboro. I am somewhat called Mr. Florida. I grew up in Daytona Beach, Miami, college in Tallahassee. Now I'm in Atlanta. I am 41, been married.
Really?
Yeah, 41 all day. Been married for 11 years, and trying to make it, man. Raising 2 kids. I run my own business. Just trying to get it, Can't stop, won't stop.
You said can't stop, won't stop.
That's it.
I know that's right. Okay, and for those that don't know me, my name is Siobhan Carter. I am the You Relationship Coach, and I am passionate about helping women develop healthy relationships with themselves so that they can foster healthy relationships with other people. So that's my life purpose. That's my passion. That's what I do. And I just wrote my book or published my book in May 2017, Dear Miss Wholeness. Woo, woo. And I'll add a link. Do all that right now, but I'll add a link later to how you can purchase it. It's my life story about all my relationship journey and marriage, divorce, and how I bounce back from all that. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. So let's get into it.
Okay.
All right. So wait, before we do that, can you tell the people how we know each other?
We know each other from a beautiful experience named Images Modeling Troupe at the highest of 7 hills. We modeled together, blazing runways, setting people on fire, trying to walk with us and they couldn't do it. It was a beautiful experience.
Right. Shout out to Images Modeling Truth, Florida
I
A&M University that we met. Oh man, this little 5'2" something, trying to strive with all the tall people, but I was holding it down though.
killing them.
All right. So you said you've been married 11 years?
11 strong.
Okay. So when you met your wife, like how did you know she was the one for you?
It's funny, man. We met at um, a model casting. I was actually a photographer there. And met. She had a boyfriend at the time. That didn't at all.
Of course.
It never has, never will. It didn't stop. We met, and our situation was really weird. We hung out really strong. We actually bought a house together. We dated for less than a year. It was probably close to 9 months, and we bought the house that we live in now.
Really?
Yep, we've been here 14 years, be 15 in December. We closed the day after my birthday.
Wow.
And yeah, we've been here. We now have 2 kids, and we've been through the ups and downs, and I will quickly take the blame for 99% of our issues and problems, but I'm a different dude now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You said, no, I'm saying, do this. You did this when you said, no, I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm saying. I mean, I had to. It takes growth for a lot of guys. Even though I grew up with my father in the household, we still don't have the example. We still don't know what to do when it comes to being married. So it takes time for us to develop those skills. And for me, it took time for me to take myself out of the one position. That was the key. That is exactly what flipped my marriage and made it work. And the reason why we're divorced today is because I was able to move myself out of one and put her in one. And since I did that, we've been great.
Wow, that's powerful. One, that you took ownership for it when you said 99% of the things that was going on, you attributed to things that you were doing. And then to say that you've grown and then to take you out of that number one spot and put her in it. Can you share more about how you were able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. My entire life, especially dealing with women, I've always put myself first. I've been selfish in that instance. And even getting married, I did the same thing. I operated in a sense of I need her to do X, Y, and Z, and then was upset about situations when she didn't. I learned over time that everything works out better when she's happy. I mean, the things that you hear that have stuck around, happy wife, happy life, that is real. If she's happy, then everything runs smooth. It's just a whole lot smoother. And, I counsel a few friends and relatives, and I try to explain to them, this isn't checkers. This is chess. And although the king is the piece you have to capture to win the game, the most powerful piece on the board is the queen. And if you operate in that sense and with that mindset, then you'll win, but because it's impossible to win a game of chess without your queen. Sorry.
Yeah, that's so profound and so important, I think. But I've heard people say, happy wife, happy life. And I was reading something recently where a woman was like, well, that's selfish. Why is it just happy wife? Why isn't it just, happy husband also? Why is it just one-sided? What would you say to that?
It has to be. It has to be. In order to lead the household, you have to pull yourself out of that one position, because it's selfish if you're not driven to make her happy. So for right now in my life, my wife could tell me no about anything and everything I ask for. She could not do. But I'm going to try my best to wake up and do the best I can for her regardless, and that those instances make her happy. It doesn't take you know, my happiness will come. You know, at the end of the day, my happiness will happen over time. As long as she's happy, we're moving forward, and that's the plan. I mean, that's just the goal. I want to be able to raise my kids, and my kids see my wife happy and see us, our interaction, happy. I want them to see black love, and that's just big on my list. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to my wife and her happiness, I will give her the world. Before I'm happy myself, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, her happiness leads to my happiness. It's just that simple, It's really easy. It's just finding the right mate and finding the right situation, and also understanding. Excuse me. I think women miss the system of a man has to mature beyond age. It's not an age situation. A man has to mature. We're very simple, but a man has to mature to get to the point where he can be a good husband and a good father. He has.
So you say he has
just closed my man cave door.
Oh. She's like, let me give him his private time. Yeah. So, okay. So you said a man has to mature. So should the man be at a point where, like, should that happen in marriage or before marriage, or is it just an organic thing? Like, what would you say?
That's an in marriage thing. He has to, one, be willing, but it's an in marriage thing because it's a process. You can practice basketball, football. I just came from football practice with my son, and you can practice all the skills there, but until you actually apply it, it's hard. You can practice as much as you want. You can't apply it until you game. It's the same situation. You have to be able to apply being in a healthy marriage, and communication is key. It's part of my business, is what I do. So I have to be able to communicate to my wife my issues, my problems, my thoughts, my goals, our future. There's no such thing as over talking. You have to be tactful. One piece that I'm still in the process of learning is tone and approach. That's key. Because you could say one thing, and in your mind, you're just throwing it out, but the tone of your voice, the approach to that is the difference between the yes and the no a lot of times. So
Yeah.
men, we have to mature. Like, we have to understand, and it's not an everyday process for us. It's not we wake up, we get married, and next thing we know, everything is her. It's her happiness first. And men say that, and we move on that in some instances, but you have to truly believe that. You have to truly understand that it has to be her. Like, for me, my wife, it has to be her. Her happiness before mine. I go to bed upset. I go to bed mad. I go to bed hurt. But I just try again tomorrow.
Wow. Wow. So it sounds like sacrifice, compromise, love, compassion, like all of that mixed in together.
Absolutely. And forgiveness. Everybody's going to do wrong. I was watching this video earlier about monogamy and monogamous relationships. And we're just kind of saying how if you're in a relationship and somebody cheats one time, you're married 50 at one time, how is that a fail in comparison, to the grand scheme of things? So you just have to be forgiving. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. There's nothing she could do that make me want to walk away from her. I mean,
wow.
And I've just accepted that in life, and know, through it all, through the good times and the very bad times, I just have learned to accept that there's nothing she can do that will make me not want to be with her.
Wow.
I mean, she's my world, so it doesn't. And there's a ton of temptation. You just have to be strong,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And even when you're not, you just have to understand that you have to make that sacrifice. You have to be willing to make that sacrifice. You have to be willing, and then your spouse on the other side of that, you have to be willing to give them enough to make them not want to do anything, you know, and that's really what it just boils to, you know, and forgiveness and just love and putting, you know, at the end of the day, it's putting them first. You know, I just try my best to put my wife first. There's plenty of times when I feel like she doesn't put me first, but it's okay because that's not our goal. My goal is to put her first. If she goes through a day and I put her first and I ask her, what can I do to make your life easier today? And she tells me something and I do it, then that's the win, you know? And that's all
Yeah.
it's about. You know, it's slowly, it's short-term goals turning into long-term goals, you know, and we've definitely grown together.
Yeah. So two things that have come up. One is about temptation. Remind me to bring that up in a
Yeah.
minute. But what I want to ask, since there is like this evolution, this growth and development that happens, you know, during marriage, what should singles look for, you know, when they're dating? Since, you know, we're always growing and learning, like what should singles be focusing on?
Single women or single men?
Both.
It's different. Um, what attracted me to my wife was her sense of motherhood. Short story. We went rollerblading. Mind you, I didn't rollerblade. She did. In order for me to be around her more, what did I do? Go run out and buy some rollerblades.
About to
Rollerblades.
fall, but
I think I'm good now. I'm cool. I'm able to stand on one foot and all this, and I'm good. We are in Piedmont Park. There's this long slope downhill. I'm like, I'm going downhill. I take off
no,
the hill. Next thing I know, I'm on the side of the road, arm tore up because I fell and
no.
rolled, and she took care of me. Like she was like,
Wow.
"No, are you okay?" Like she bandaged it up. She would, you know, put ointment and stuff on it, and I was like, I was sold. That was.
Really?
So I mean, it takes for men. It takes getting to the point of looking for a spouse, looking for somebody that you can wake up to. For women, I think it takes presenting yourself in that light. It's knowing that there's things that we are as men are attracted to. Yes, we like the small waist, the big butts, the the long flowing hair and the and all. I mean, yeah, cool. It's great to look at. It's great on a video, but to wake up to that, to wake up to the face full of makeup, no one. I just don't know. I don't know any guy who winds up marrying the video vixen makeup chick. I just don't see it. So I understand that's great to be in the street and you're going to draw attention, but if you're looking for a husband, that's not the attention you want. We want to make sure that we can roll over and wake up next to you and you're not sliding out of bed, 15 minutes early so you can put on your makeup. We want to know what you look like with and without it. We want to see you dolled up, yes, but in the same instance, we want to make sure that you're just everyday attractive. And I think a lot of times women present themselves in the dolled up role and they forget about the everyday attraction,
Yeah. So for a man, what I'm hearing is it's about the physical, definitely. You want to be attracted to her, but it's also about the substance of her too.
Right. Yeah. You have to be able to hold a conversation. You have to be able to give a man something to desire in the long term. Someone like me, I have an entrepreneur spirit, so you have to be through that. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm a rock with you. I'm gonna help you do that. Whether it's I will read over this for you, I'm gonna help you sell that. We're gonna go here together. I know these people here. Call them. Like you have to just have his back. And even if you can't physically get out and do any of it, that helps. You're not going to get out and wash the cars with him and he opens his own car wash. Just pat his back and ask him how his day was and, how many cars he did, Those little things mean so much, when the second best thing my wife tells me is she's proud of me. That, it makes me want to work harder. Something that I strive for, to make her proud of me. She met me, I ran my own business and I left that world, just to provide. We started having kids and I started running my own business again over the last year. And it's just been lucrative. It's been great. I've been able to provide for her and our kids. So everything is smooth, so it's just cool. Like, and for her to pat me on the back and, like I said, it's the second best thing, outside of her telling me she loves me. It's the best.
Oh, so, okay. So thinking about what you said before you got married, right?
Okay.
That you were putting yourself first. What would you say to a woman who may be dating a man like that, and to see how you have grown and just kind of matured and changed things up? What would you say to a woman who's dating a guy that is, kind of putting himself first?
Check for the substance, see how he moves, see how he really cares about you. In instance, I'm very attentive. So even though I put myself first for a long time, I'm still attentive. I still know, I could tell how your hair is different. I could tell if you went and got your eyebrows done. I see all of that. That's part of that is imaging. But I see all of that. Right. So just see how he's attentive to you, but realize that it's a development. It's a pure development process. At the end of the day, there's very few athletes who play through college and start in whatever sport they're into, whether it's football, basketball. If you take basketball, for instance, they'll play a year, two in college and go pro, but a lot of times they don't start pro, and then they still develop in that process. Even though they're getting the check and they have the pro jersey and all that, they still have to develop. It takes them 3, 4 years. Very few people come in the league and they're just awesome. I'm obviously, if you see the purple and gold behind me, I'm a Lakers fan. Kobe Bryant sat 2 years on the bench. And he's third ever scoring. It just takes time to develop your talent, and they have to want to work to do it. And that's where you keep your eyes. I think women get caught up in a lot of the small things. And I think it's too easy to end relationships now, especially, especially marriages. It's too easy. You have to fight through it. My wife could have left me 100 times, I'm glad. And now it's my goal to show her that she did the right thing by staying with me. And, I try to prove that to her every day because, I wasn't right. I didn't do that,
Yeah. So 11 years married. You said 15 years together?
Yes.
Okay. So how do you keep the spark? It's gone through ups and downs. How do you keep it spicy, funky, and, exciting?
That's my world. I'm the affectionate one. She's
Okay.
chill. She's focused on her career and our kids and, stuff. And communication is key. We love to travel, so being able to take her on trips. I take her on a trip over the last 4 years. I take her and her either for our anniversary or around her birthday or my birthday, just somewhere, and I don't tell her where we're going. I grab the passports. I tell her what to pack, but she never knows. I'll always book a layover. So, she'll get the first ticket and it's like, oh, we're flying to Charlotte. Oh, we're flying to Miami. Then we're jumping, going somewhere, and I try to take really nice trips. We've done Cozumel, we've done Turks, Turks and Caicos is beautiful. So take that trip. That's a beautiful island. Well, it was before the hurricane, but
Right.
so we try to, we just try to get out and experience each other and times away from our kids and focus on that. And it's work. At the end of the day, a marriage is absolute work because you'll get caught up in, being the mother, being the father, being the provider and your career, and you'll get caught and you'll look up and 24 hours it's gone, and you didn't have any time with your spouse, and you have to focus on spending quality time with your spouse. Like you have to make it happen. And it's not necessarily saying, okay, every Saturday, every other Saturday we're going on a date. No, it doesn't have to be that. It's just, but you have to focus that into your existence together.
Yeah. Yeah. So something that you said, I was going to ask that question anyway, that marriage is work. What does that mean? You hear it all the time. What work? What does that mean?
At the end of the day, you have to operate like marriage is work because, like, I look at marriage in a sense of playing basketball. Okay, so this is a pro team. This is my pro team. She's my pro. Like I'm trying to title with her. We're trying to go to the top. I'm trying to create all the revenue. You have to also realize part of what I was saying when it comes to temptation. There's other people out there who want to play on the team. It's just the facts. There's other people trying to take your position. In basketball, there's no team starts, the beginning of the game and plays 4 players until they find that person coming out of college to fill that role. No, they have 5 on the court. They always have 5 on the court. Now mind you, they may draft a point guard, and the point guard that they played with last year, he either going to the bench or they're trading him. It's just the facts. So when they say that's the business, but you have to be willing to fight for your role and make sure you take care of your job. There's elements of job that things you're responsible for in your marriage. My wife and I have a very good balance when it comes to things. I try to do more than I can than I'm supposed to, that my job requirements are, but at the end of the day, I have to meet those goals that she has, and once I do that, then the extra stuff is great. But and have to be willing to put in that work. For guys, honestly, it takes us time. It takes us time to say, all right, I'm going to dedicate myself to this woman. I think I'm a person who believes that women are bred to be in monogamous relationships. Like y'all good. You find the right person, it's nothing for you. Like you can meet the next guy and you're like, nah, I'm good. I got a guy at home, I do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Guys, that's a daily process for us. Daily. If he walks out the house, daily process. We have to, because we're going to see something that catches our eye.
Yeah.
At that point, that very second, you have to say, okay, am I going to walk past her, or am I going to try? I'm going to shoot a shot.
Shoot a shot, yeah.
So, so you just have to be able to walk past. And, having a great woman at home makes it really easy to walk past. Somebody has LeBron on their team, you're not going to go and try to find the next power forward. You have power forward, It's just the league is built. You want to have a solid team, but obviously when I say team, you want one person to play all the roles. Wife is the mother of my kids, and absolutely the best woman I could ever pick to be the mother of my children. She's my wife. She helps in the house. She's an educator. She does her job, beyond measure. And so she does 5 roles easy. Starting 5, it's all her. So when team, I don't want people to get confused. Like I'm saying, okay, well you have a side chick and a backup chicken. Nah, those are all.
Yeah. So Gloria asked a good question. In marriages, who is that priority, the spouse or the
The
kids?
spouse, period.
Mm-hmm.
First and
Yeah.
foremost, the spouse is the priority. The kids will, everything will trickle down, you know, um, and without question. And I get questions about the spouse and the mother. Yeah, no, it's your wife. The spouse is the absolute key. You know, if your mother and your spouse don't get along, then that's something you have to work on to repair for them. You have to
Mm-hmm.
put that together, you know. Um, but the spouse is absolutely priority. Even when there's children from another relationship or something like that, the spouse, once you take that step, the spouse is the key, because that makes the spouse want to make sure that the kids are good. And if you operate in a system where my wife and I operate now, we started our marriage and we were 50-50. You hear everybody say,
Okay.
it doesn't work. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be 100-100.
Yeah, because who determines the 50? Like who, it's like my 50,
Right.
who knows?
You have to,
Yeah.
if you're 100-100, you put 100% of yourself into your spouse. You know, there's gonna be times when they don't. You know, it's just reality. There's gonna be times when you feel like you're putting 100%, but you're really only putting 80%. But the
Yeah.
days that things that happen when you're putting 80 and they're putting 80, now you have 160. So you have overflow.
Mm-hmm.
That covers the house, that covers the kids, that covers everything. And then those
Yeah.
weekdays when they're only giving you 10% and you're at 80%, I mean, you're still at 90. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. You can still function and operate on
Mm-hmm.
that, because that's not an everyday situation. You know, then when you
Mm-hmm.
break down and you're still like, oh my gosh, I'm only going to give her 50%. She's only giving me 50%. I'm just going to match that. That's all she's going to. Well, y'all
Yeah.
still at 100 together, and that's all.
Right.
You know, so you'll have those
Mm-hmm.
days where you have to give of yourself more. You know, my goal is to give the 100 every day. So if my wife gives me 10, we're good. We're at 110. My
Yeah.
kids are
Yeah.
definitely covered in the 110, because you
Yeah.
can run
Yeah.
the household at 70%, period. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to decide to go hard, and that's really what it's about.
Yeah.
I just try to go hard for my wife. I'm gonna do everything I
Mm-hmm.
can to make her situation better. I learned to just ask her every day, what can I do to make your day better?
Mm-hmm.
That was the turn for me, because my
Mm-hmm.
goal was to literally make her day better. And
Wow.
that was through some issues we had, but that was the goal. I mean, and so once I decided to make that my goal, her happiness, then able to turn the corner the right way.
Yeah. So how was the adjustment being together without any children at first? How was the adjustment once you started to have kids?
It was hard. It
Mm-hmm.
actually was really hard because my wife put her time, energy, and effort into our children. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we had our son. She was finishing up one of her 37 degrees, and that's where she has a degree for everything. But she was finishing up, I think, her master's, and
Mm-hmm.
we had our son. So and she did her master's online. So that time had to come from somewhere. She worked still. We had a newborn, and then she had online classes. That time has to come. I mean, you only have so many hours in a day. That time has to come from somewhere. So for me, it was my sacrifice was giving her that time, giving her the time that I felt like she should spend with her spouse, um, giving her that time to do everything else she could. And, out with my
Mm-hmm.
son, of course, I always will be involved in my children's lives. That's just who I am. But it's about taking this step. And, for people who have kids and aren't together, it's bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
Whole premise is bigger than you. It's about putting the kids in the right place so they can see what a successful relationship is. You can't just show them negative stuff, because that just breeds more negativity.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. Yep. So, okay, one last question, and then I want to get into some of the relationship scenarios and questions that I've posted.
Okay.
Um, so you mentioned that you're an affectionate person and your wife is not so much. So what do you do? What does a man do? What does a woman do when your spouse doesn't always meet your needs?
For a guy, you suck it up. Just have to suck.
Mm,
You have to deal. Um, don't make the mistake to fall for temptation. Don't look outside of your relationship for that satisfaction, and not necessarily even physical satisfaction. Just the attention. That was a problem for me. It wanted
mhm,
attention, and I wasn't getting it from my wife. So that opened doors. Late,
mm,
try not to open those doors. Understand the numbers. I don't, I mean, I hate to be that stickler, that guy, but at the end of the day, I mean, I live in Atlanta. The numbers are 18, 19 to 1, females to male.
mhm,
You know,
mhm,
that's a rough number. That's a rough
mhm,
like me. So you're looking at 17 other single women,
mhm.
to one guy. So, I tell people all the time, women tend to act like they're the commodity. Um,
Mhm,
And the reality of it is, if it's 17 to 1, you're not a commodity. You know, you walk
mhm,
into a store and see
mhm,
17 of the same shirt. It could be different colors, different sizes, but it's 17 of them. That shirt's on sale.
mhm,
That's not
mhm.
one of those stores where you just walk up and get it and you take it to the register and they just tell you how much it is then. Oh, no, there's sign there
Mhm,
that says sale, sale, sale. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one half off. Like, that shirt's on sale. So I
mhm,
mean, I don't want women to discount themselves. I'm definitely not saying that, but so definitely know your value, but understand the numbers. So um, sometimes you have to go a little harder. You have to send that text, or call, or plan something, until you level out and it's heading for marriage, or you're
mhm.
married, then you can relax a little bit, but still realize, like, in today's day and age, like, there's a song where he's yours Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hers, or something. Like, I'm like, really?
Wow,
This,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
like, really?
So, so, but what about women that, feel like, like you said, knowing her worth, knowing our value, knowing our worth, but just feels like why do I have to do all of that to get a man? Like why do I have to feel like I'm competing with another woman to get that one man if it's 17 other women going after him? Like why can't I just be myself and if that's not enough, then he's just not for
I
me?
mean, you
What would you say?
absolutely can be yourself, um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the difference between going to get your hair done and not. It's the difference between having your nails done and not. It's the difference between ironing your clothes and matching. There's nothing wrong with putting your
Yeah,
best foot forward in the process.
yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I iron everything. Unless I'm going to the gym, I'm ironing images too. But
Stay fly. That's you, that's you in another category.
I try my best. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm on stage. That's how I live life. I'm on stage, even
Yeah.
there somebody's watching. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I want to make sure I give them a good show. um,
Mm-hmm.
I would take the best foot forward. I mean, that's what it
Yeah.
takes in today's age to to successfully date. I mean, yeah, you don't want to necessarily quote unquote compete, but the numbers are
Yeah.
numbers. Men and women, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of numbers don't. So there it's just a reality. It's out there. It's because of the things that have happened in the past and the propaganda and arresting us and putting black in
Mm-hmm.
jail and you know broken homes, so no father figure, so they don't know. I mean, there's just so much. This stems so
Mm-hmm.
far back, and that's why I just plead to people, like, just work through it, like struggle through it, work through it. because the broken family is what's destroying us. You know,
Wow.
That's what we're missing as a people. To
Mm-hmm.
get back to that, fight
Yeah.
for our family.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. And like you said, we don't see that a lot. Like you said, it's so easy to just get out of a relationship, out of a marriage. I know in my situation, he just left, so it was just so simple, it seemed.
Right.
And how many of us are really fighting for our marriage? Not to say that if it's just toxic and you just can't deal, that's a different situation. But really just going through the tough times, the ups and downs, because they're going to come,
Right.
and how to endure.
Yep, absolutely. We at the celebrities and stuff, and you see how they're quick to jump out, but then on the other instance, you see some of them do stick it out. Some of them work through it, and it's
Yeah.
and if they can work through it and they're in the spotlight, you can work through
Yeah.
it of your own home. You don't have somebody standing outside your door with a camera and putting a microphone in your face. Like, I'm a proponent of a mistake doesn't destroy. You can't, if you sit back and wait on one mistake to destroy your marriage, it'll happen. If
Yeah.
not saying that you go out looking for it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it will happen if you let it. I mean, the reality of it is, for me, there's nothing my wife can do. She can go cheat on me, and I find out, I'm not leaving. I'll be hurt. I'll be upset. I'll be mad, but I'm not leaving. She's the mother of my kids. She's my wife. She's the woman I said that it's over. So, even when I have done wrong in the past, I still, I cherish the fact that she stayed with me, because she walked away. Like I said, there's been
Yeah.
times then not. She could have walked away. And so, my goal now is to appreciate her for staying and
Wow.
show her she made the right decision.
That's so good. Yeah, that's good stuff. So talking about that, we're talking about staying together. So here's a scenario that I posted a while back.
Okay.
We have a husband and a wife. They've been married for 20 years. And in the past few years, the wife has picked up weight. And so the husband is losing his attraction to her because she's gained weight, and it's starting to impact them sexually because, can't get it up or whatever because of, you're just not attracted to her.
Right.
So he's recommended, that they work out together, and she's just, she doesn't want to do it. So he's trying to figure out how to regain his attraction for her because he loves her, and like you said, he wants to stick it out with her. But if you can't pleasure your husband, then that's a problem.
Yeah, he, that's tough, and I may hurt some feelings with this because
Okay, keep it real. Just
I'm
say
a like, physical attraction is key for me. Like, that's just who I am. I like petite women. Like, my wife is very petite. I played it very smart. She was very small. She was like a size, like breaking like size 2 before kids. So now after 2 kids, she's a size 6, 8. I'm good.
good. Still, right?
Play those numbers, brothers. You gotta play those numbers. If you like 8 and you want kids, you might want to start a little smaller, bro.
Think about it, right?
For the petite women. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's made the right suggestion. Let's get in the gym. Let's work out together. Diet is key when it comes to weight gain, I believe. So diet is absolute key. So, I mean, he needs to work on the diet first. If she's not willing to do the workout stuff and go to the gym, I would spend so much money on the P90X and Insanities and all that. And okay, let's just do 5 minutes in the house together. Those little things will help kickstart it. I say that because before I turned 40, I went to this place and they do a body scan. Like, they dip you in this tank and they can tell you how your body fat. my body fat was over 36%. I was like 37.2% or something like that. Now I'm about 9% because I refused to put on that much weight. I mean, I've always been the thin dude, you know, and all of a sudden I was like, where did this belly come from? You know, and so I started, I'm in the gym, you know, now a great week for me is I'm in the gym 6 days a week. I work really hard. I have people come to me and like, if I didn't stand there and watch you move that there, I would tell you you're lying. There's no way you can move that weight. So I just go really hard at it. And so at the end of the day, he has to find the key to moving her numbers back to where they met. If married, they've been married 20 years, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But she has to also realize that she is being selfish if she's not physically what he met. You know, it's different if she was, you know, a size 12, dropped down to a 4, now all of a sudden back at a 14, you know, that's different. Yeah. You know, he met her at the 12, that's different. But if he met her at the 4 and now you're a 14, we need to talk. We need to talk. Yeah. He waited too long.
Yeah, because that was a long time. That's like, you know, 16, 17 years into it, and then things change. But I think as women, we really have to not use the excuses. You know, I'm small, so whatever. But if I were to gain weight, I can't use the excuse like, oh, well, you know, I have this going on now, unless it's a health issue. Right. You know, some people just health challenges that they, you know, that they can't control that. But, you know, for the most part, I think sometimes we grow comfortable and just like, you know, love me as I am, and we make excuses and we're not doing the work, like you said earlier. We're not putting in the effort that we need to make sure we're staying sexy for our man, so that he doesn't go out and, you know, see all these other women and find them attractive and then piques his interest. So I think we have a part to play in as women as well, and not get comfortable and just like, oh, well, you know, we've been together this long, so he just has to accept it.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, the same thing for guys. I mean, you know, women have a lot of luxury when it comes to looking good. I mean, you can get a weave, and, you know, you can, I mean, shots and implants and all that. I mean, that's really, it doesn't happen for guys like that. I mean, for us, all we can do, get our hair cut, shave, keep our car clean, iron our clothes. That's it. That's all you get from us. That's all we can do. You know, women can fake nails, fake hair, now, like everything. You know,
everything.
Right. Just, you don't even have to really get the butt implants. You got panties with butt in them, like.
You really do.
Y'all win.
I have a friend that wears those religiously too. It's so funny.
You know, it was crazy. We were at a graduation or something, and this girl had his skirt on, definitely too small for her, and the wind. He had on panties that they literally lift her butt, like her butt cut out of the panty. You know, it looked like some old school Prince type stuff, and I'm just like, really? That's that now, like.
Like you said, it's all kind of products out there to help us enhance beauty.
You don't have them. It's just it's for us. So, you know, that's part of the issue. You know, you have to present yourself, because, I mean, we meet you out, whether it's in a club or in Publix, and your butt is great, and then you get home and your butt comes off. That's a problem.
That's wrong. That's deceit.
Right. Exactly. You know? How you expect that man to love you for you if you ain't really you?
Exactly. Like, who are you?
You can't say love me for me if you wear a weave. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, I mean, no, that's the point. You got a good point. You got a good point. So we're talking about in that situation, you know, sex in the marriage, right? Okay. So what about this scenario? This woman, she waited until she was married to have sex. And she was about 25 when she got married, right? So she gets married and finds out that it's not as good as she thought it was going to be. Like, she saved herself all these years, and she's just finding that her husband isn't adventurous. Even though she was a virgin, she's getting into it, and it just seems like this is not how I thought it was going to be. And so she wants to try different things. He doesn't want to do it. So about 3 years after they were married, they get divorced. What would you say, like, how important is sexual compatibility?
It's very, very important. I can't varies on there. But it's not a deal breaker. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be willing to understand your spouse's wants and needs when it comes to sexuality. You have, you can push the envelope some, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. I mean, it's great if you're compatible that way, but yeah, you have to be willing to work past it. And try to explore to the small growth pieces. Like, don't try to just do it all at once. Don't pop up in trapeze and expect them to like that. I mean,
swinging.
But I mean, you just have to take the small steps and try this and try that. That's actually part of my marriage. I guess, and it's weird because, as someone who had a lot of sexual experiences, the woman I married is not that, and but at the end of the day, it is what it is. If I make her happy, it goes back to that. If I make her happy, she wants to make me happy, and we're good. Back golden,
Right. Yeah, and that's it. And like Joanne says, learn what your spouse likes or dislikes in the bedroom and talk about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to speak on a situation where she was a virgin, he's a virgin or something like that, because I think you should experience that and know what you're getting yourself into before you get. I mean, to me, it's such a key of the marriage, especially for me and the guys I know, my partners. Yeah, that has to go down because I need to know what I'm dealing with. I know how much coaching and training we're talking about here. I need to figure out.
Course related.
I'm trying to get you to start or bring you off the bench or something. Like, this is
how much training you need, huh?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, different strokes for different folks. Some people say, wait until they're married. Some people say, hey, I want to test it out. You just got to know what works for you and communicate that, with the person that you're with, because that's important.
My car is beautiful, but I tested it before I bought it. I mean, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, but okay, so let me challenge the test. Just play devil's advocate about the test driving, right? So you can test drive a whole lot of cars, and what is it about the test drive? Like, it's always going to be something that you have to work on and develop and grow. So why is the test drive so important?
I mean, the test drive is important. I mean, because you don't really go all out with the test drive. You know what I'm saying? Women should hold back. I mean, I think guys, we don't really hold back. We try to put on, like, I mean, I want to put on a full show from the beginning. I'm not standing ovation at this thing, so so I'm putting on a full show.
Right.
So women, I mean, I think they should hold back. I think they can hold back. It's just like when you test drive a car. Even if you take it on the highway, you're gonna do 60, 70. Your insurance isn't set up on that car yet. You're not gonna do 90 with it. You're not gonna just fly around the corner. Like, you're not gonna do that. It's not your car.
Yeah.
But the test drive is good because you want to see how it handles. You want to see if it handles those corners really well.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So different strokes for different folks. You just do what works for you.
Absolutely.
So we have somebody said, what about toys and things in the bedroom? Is that taboo for Christians, or just toys, period? If you're, I don't know, I'm Christian or not. Like, what are your thoughts about toys?
I'm cool with it. Like, if you and your spouse have had that conversation and talked,
you said that, and that's what I is important. It depends on what works for, because you're going to have different schools of thought, especially in Christianity and all that kind of stuff. But it really just depends on you and your spouse. What do you think, is important for you? What is the value system for you guys as it relates to that kind of stuff? And do what works for y'all, because everybody is going to have a different opinion on it, probably.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to. I mean, that's again the open lines of communication and trying things and talking about it first. Don't spring it on someone. That's life lesson for me. Don't spring it because, don't do that. I tried that.
Yeah.
That didn't work out well. So,
yeah,
I called myself doing a romantic dinner and, I made dessert and just before we had kids, we were in the guest room. I had it all set up with candles and everything. I called myself going to tie her wrists and her ankles down. And that woman, like, I got one leg and started on the arm, and she snatched through the arm, kicked the leg thing off. I was shocked because I was like, "Here, all that Velcro." Yeah. Have that conversation.
Yeah.
Front.
Don't spring it on her.
Don't just pop out with the new toys and all that. Yeah. Talk about that.
Talk about it, right? Right. And so Joanne brought up an interesting question. I guess it's about the test drive, saying that's not going to work for an individual who wants to save themselves for marriage and walk that Christian faith. Is that a deal breaker? I think we have to be honest. If you're the type of person that wants to save yourself for marriage and walk the Christian walk, then make that known up front so that the person can know, do they want to stick or not.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to let that be known up front. You have to let them know that's where you are, and you might want to try your best to find that kind of guy because I mean, I have a couple partners who definitely are on that level. They walk that walk, virgin, if not, born again virgin type deal. And they're out there. I mean, but the pool is thin. You know what I'm saying? So, and you're not going to find that guy at the strip club. You're not going to find him at, most football games. I mean, you're not going to find him in the normal situations. So, I mean, just realize that your pool is thin. I'm a big proponent of getting tested and doing testing and things like that. But it's hard if you are on a Christian walk and you're dating somebody who's very secular. It's can be tough. So I mean, but you have to know what you're getting yourself into. And even in that situation, there's still some element of test drive. I mean, there's still affection you can show each other. There's still, okay, well, I'm not putting the key in, but you can sit in here and hold the steering. Right. I'll sit next to you and go, vroom, vroom. You just got to go hit this gas today. So, I mean, there's still some elements of that you have to be understand and try to, get them to go ahead and sign that paperwork.
Right. Silly. Okay, so we got about 4 minutes left. You stupid. So let me see. My one last question. Let me see. What would you say, just kind of to close everything out, what's the message for singles? You've kind of given a message that I've taken for married people, just to kind of endure and just kind of stick it out as you go along. But what would you say to singles who desire to be married? What's the message?
Open and honest. Honest, especially for the guys. Be open and honest. Don't, like, at a certain point in life, you don't have to lie to kick it. You know what I mean? Like, let her have the choice. You're going to miss out on some attractive women that may work for you, but understand it's for the better. You don't want to bamboozle somebody with a lie trying to get where you want to go. And so I would say that. I would say women know that there's really only 2 reasons men cheat. 2.
Enlighten us. What's the 2?
Okay. The first, we're about to run past this. Anyways, the first, I'm good though. The first is, I call it the Tiger Woods syndrome. Tiger Woods was a lame in high school. He was a lame in college. If you had to bet, Tiger was probably a virgin. Not saying that he wanted to be, he just was. Then Tiger started playing golf, and Tiger Woods came pro, and Tiger was worth almost $1 billion. Now, he found the woman of his dreams. Blonde, blue eyes, heavy in the chest, super thin. Like, that's what he was attracted to. Absolutely. The problem, the factor was he didn't think the porn star girls would be throwing a cat at him. And because he hadn't had those experiences in life, he couldn't turn it down. You know, he couldn't walk away from that and like, oh no, I'm good. You know, I'm good. No, I mean, so I call it Tiger Woods syndrome. You know, there's a situation for most men you haven't been with, or, and quote, conquer is absolutely the wrong word, but conquered enough women, then you're going to want to know about this woman or want to know about this type of woman. You know, whether it's you have a thing for Asian women or you have a thing for women with short hair or long hair or thick women or thick, like you're going to want to try all of that before you settle down and be with that woman. And the thing about it, for women, you guys need to know that you need to know kind of where he is in that situation, you know, because no matter how great you are as a woman, there's nothing you can do to stop him. Zero. Cannot stop that man from cheating on you. You know, if he has a thing for Asian women, there's nothing you're going to stop him from doing once he stumbles into an Asian woman that finds him attractive. If she's going to give it to him, he's going to take it. You can't stop it. The other reason is because long term, his needs aren't being met.
Long term.
Right. So a door is open. Now, most men, because I can't say all, but most men can duck out on their needs not being met for a short amount of time. Like, yeah, doesn't do that. But over, you know, if it becomes a long-term thing, that's a problem. I have a homeboy who his wife didn't cook at all. Zero. And she worked part-time, he worked full-time, but she didn't cook at all. So he had to come home and cook. He was at work one day, and one of his coworkers, female, was like, "Why do you always eat out for lunch? Da 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 da. Y'all don't have any leftovers?" They're like, "Nah, I do all the cooking. She don't cook." And you know, her initial response was, "I can't believe your wife doesn't cook for you. I would cook every day. I love to cook. Da 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 da." 2 days later, she brings food for herself. It smells amazing. He's like, "Man, that smells good. Da 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 da." Okay. She says, "Well, I'm going to bring you some lunch tomorrow. I'm going to have leftovers. I'm going to bring you some lunch tomorrow." She brings him lunch. He eats the lunch. It's amazing. And this is leftovers. So, eats the lunch. It's leftovers. Okay, cool. She later on invites him over for dinner. Okay. He goes over to eat dinner. Amazing meal. Long story short, eventually he's going to go over there to eat dinner and eat her.
You're right. Right. Yeah.
The doors.
Real.
The door open, lady. If you don't know how to cook, cool. If he locks down with you and you don't know how to cook, he knew that going into it. Cool. That doesn't mean he doesn't have to eat though. That doesn't mean any man wants to go out and eat out to eat every day. Like, learn how to cook. It's simple. If it's cleaning, it's simple. And you know, to please a guy is so simple. We're so easy. It's like 4 things. You know, let us have some space. Tell us how much you appreciate us. That'll help him provide more for you. Keep the nagging to a minimum. It's all tone. And every guy has that 4th thing that he's into. You know, let him have that. You know, if it's working on cars, if it's football, you know, even though he shouldn't be watching football right now, it should be boycotting. But whatever it is, like, let him have that space in that one thing. You know, if he has a 5th thing, then I say enjoy the fourth thing with him. If he enjoys football,
Mm-hmm.
learn about football. Like, it's not hard. The internet is there. You can literally find anything online. You know, like, so
Mm-hmm.
learn about the game so that way you can sit down with him. If he plays video games, wait till he's not home and you jump on the thing and practice and learn how to play the video game that he plays. That way, eventually, you sit
Mm-hmm.
down and play with him. Even if you don't beat
Yeah.
him, no man wants to get beat ever by his woman. But for you to pick up the sticks, we're amazed. It's simple. We'll do
Mm-hmm.
anything in the world for you when it comes to that. So, I mean, that's it,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, but you said something that's so important, especially that leaving the door open for another woman to come in. Because something as simple as just not cooking, and you have some single women that, look, I don't cook, and I let that be known up front. But like you said, even if he chose to be with that woman, knowing that, it doesn't mean you stand so hard on that. You take that hard stance after marriage because
It's
you're opening the door, that kind of stuff.
open
Mm-hmm.
for another woman who loves to cook to cook
Yeah,
food,
I
and
mean,
that's not.
and feed. You don't want that. So we have to be open. We have to be flexible and not just, oh, well, I don't cook. Even if you have to pay somebody to cook, like, do what you got to do to make sure, that all is well. So he's good, you're
Just
good,
learn,
and take.
not hard. Like, find something that he likes to eat, learn that recipe, download and
Yeah,
learn it and cook it.
yeah, mm,
And if it doesn't come out great, find something else. And then if you get you 5 good ones, you good. You know, my
yeah,
wife was a
mm-hmm,
cooker when we met, and like that was enough put in me. Like, I remember we went to the grocery store. I bought the groceries. She cooked, and it was late, and she threw a steak and baked potato together in like an hour.
yes.
I was blowed. I was like, oh yeah, I'm good right here.
He said, I'm good,
Found
I'm
I
solid.
found my winner. I'm good.
Found my happy
Ex-
place. Yes.
Exactly.
That's it. Well, I just want to appreciate you. What you was gonna say?
No, I just said it's those little things, ladies,
Yeah.
that the little things that remind us of our mother, without being motherly. Um, those are things that stand out. Those are will
Mm-hmm.
beat out the fake nails and lashes and weaves and fake all
Mm-hmm.
that. It'll beat out all
Yeah.
in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but understand that even when you find quote unquote the perfect guy, like, it's
Mm-hmm.
development. It took me
Yeah.
years to realize how to
Mm-hmm.
be a good husband. It doesn't come with a
Well,
there's no there's no backup of that. And most households growing up, you at least have a mother. So you have the mother.
mm-hmm.
You know, in today's society, there aren't a lot of fathers there. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
you women are running into a lot of guys who are raised by women.
Yeah.
Makes the situation not as good because they don't have a figure to base it on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a struggle. So it takes that guy time to develop himself into a good husband. Into
Mm-hmm.
It takes time to develop into a good father, but I mean, it takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time to develop into a good husband.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's key. That's one of the many things that I'm taking away from this conversation. One, to endure, through relationships and just allow relationships to develop. It's not a microwave process.
Oh,
We grow, we're evolving, and just to stick it out,
absolutely.
if possible. Some things, like I said, are really toxic and we just need to leave. But for the most part, just learn how to work through stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And the toxic things. I mean, it's not something that you're not aware of. I
Yeah,
don't feel like
yeah,
anybody should put their hands on their spouse. Something
hmm,
that should just never happen. Uh, when
yeah,
it comes down to situations where you're dealing with like infidelities or just attention being gone, uh,
hmm,
you have to be able to forgive because at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer looking back at yourself and say, did I do everything right? Did I try to give them everything that they needed? And if you didn't, then you opened the door.
yeah. That's
So,
true.
can you be mad if someone walked through the door if you opened it up?
Hmm,
Um,
hmm,
just, I mean, it's where it is, you know. And at the end of the day, you
Yeah.
have to be willing to fight for your relationship, fight for your. Um, one thing that I'm trying to constantly do is not call marriage a relationship. You use the term marriage; it makes you focus on marriage. Use it as much as
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. I like to think that if my wife was sitting here next to me, she would tell everyone that we have a great marriage now. It hasn't always been. I haven't been a great husband. I think I'm close now. You know, but I'm still working. I'm still a
Yeah.
never stop. You know, at the end of the day, if you think about, you know, our grandparents and, you know, how grandpa had another child around and they still stuck together. They still fought through it, you know. Things happen, you know. You have to fight through it, man. Fight through it for the long haul. Fight through it, if nothing else, fight through it for the kids so the kids can see, you know, healthy relationship. You know, you know, like you said, the toxic things, of course, you get away from, but the small things, and I consider things like, you know, infidelity small in the grand scheme. Yeah, you have to fight through it.
I know that's right. Well, that's good stuff. Thank you, Rob. This has been a great conversation. Thanks for sharing your wisdom, your insights, and just being honest about your journey. You know, admitting your faults and just sticking it out and seeing your growth and development and all of that. It's awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate everyone paying attention, and hopefully they got something from this conversation. And I'll be glad to do it again. Just let me know when.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
All right.
Talk to you later.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Hey.